So you have a low income and you're looking for the secrets to saving your money and enjoying your life. Well, I've got some great tips for you today from Anne that she wanted me to share with you. Hi everybody, my name is Sarah. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you don't know me, I'm the owner of fruitsandpennies.com. I'm a financial coach, and as a family, we are debt-free. Now, Anne is a 76-year-old woman who lives in an apartment and is on a fixed income of $1,100 a month from Social Security. And she has pretty much nailed living on a low income, doing frugal things, and also having a great quality of life. What surprised me the most about talking with Anne is how happy she was, how content she was in life, and how she found joy in the simple things. So I'm going to go over with you the 15 things that we talked about, the questions that I asked her, and the insight that she gave. And at the end, I'm going to share with you the 4 things that she says are the most important to give anybody on a low income a good quality of life. First, we talked about knowing your spending. She still balances her checkbook. She has a debit card instead of checks because she says that checks just take her too long to write when she's trying to cash out at the grocery store, for example. She does use checks with things like her rent and her electric bill, all of those things that she mails in because she still mails things in. But she also checks her bank statement every single month. The bank still mails her the typical bank statement, and she goes through and checks things off and uses her check registry in order to make sure that, first of all, there's no fraudulent charges, because we know that people that are older sometimes tend to be targets for fraudulent charges. Also, it allows her to have a running balance in her checking account so she knows exactly how much money she can spend and how much money she can save and when it's time to cut back. Next, we talked about cooking at home, and I asked her, because I'm 50 years old, I asked her if she was tired of cooking at home. And her response was pretty fantastic. She keeps her meals that she does cook really simple. She does use a little bit of convenience food, but she likes to eat a little bit healthier, so she does make sure that she has a starch, a vegetable, and a small piece of protein. Now, her big meals do come every day from Meals on Wheels, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. But the things that she does cook, she will cook maybe 3 or 4 chicken breasts in the crock pot because she loves her crock pot still, or the oven. And she will chop them up and kind of make her own little TV dinners. She might cook some potatoes and mash them, or she loves Bob Evans sweet potatoes, so she buys those. So when I asked about saving money at the grocery store, the tactics that she uses, she doesn't really use coupons because she doesn't have any kind of digital device that she can use for downloading apps or coupons. And she used to get the paper, but she did tell me that the paper has gone up in price so much that it's just not worth it for her. Her savings don't outweigh the cost of the paper. But she does buy generic. She does get things on sale when she can. She always looks at the sales when she goes into the store and then has a grocery list that she keeps, and she knows the things that she likes, but she always checks out the grocery store for a few minutes first to make sure that she's getting the things that are on sale and can kind of manipulate and maneuver her meal planning into incorporating those sales. She rarely goes out to eat. Friends and family might take her out every once in a while, maybe for her birthday, but as a practice, she doesn't go out to eat. Although she does love, when the weather is good, to go to the senior center for a meal with friends and a little bit of socialization. When I asked her about good ways to reduce energy costs, because she has unlimited income, does she find that it helps? A couple of things. She does get HEAP, which is fantastic. It's just a little bit of help during the winter season. And she does try to keep her heat a little bit higher level because she says she gets cold. She doesn't use a whole lot of air conditioner because she says her body temperature runs a little bit cooler and she's normally not really hot, and an open window is just fine for her. But in the winter, you will find her apartment to be at about 75, 76 degrees, and she's probably wearing a sweater. She does turn off the lights when she's not in the room, and she has these little motion detector night lights that come on when she walks by. So if she does have to get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, they do come on and she doesn't necessarily have to turn on the hall light. This is a safety concern also for her, and it helps so she doesn't trip. I did ask Anne about thrifting and buying secondhand, and she highly recommends it if you need clothes or furniture. If you're on a low income and you find that you need clothes or furniture, it's the first place that she recommends going. However, she says she doesn't need anything. She may get a nice top or a new pair of pants as a gift for Christmas from friends and family, but she doesn't necessarily need any more clothes. She doesn't really go anywhere. She's got some nice clothes when she does want to go to the senior center, but for the most part, she's okay with what she's got. I did ask Anne about savings. Does she have a little nest egg or emergency fund? She does have a little savings, but mostly it's for her cat, Rosie. She has a cat that offers companionship and love and somebody to talk to when there's nobody else around. That emergency fund is for the cat just in case the cat needs anything. Now, there is a way to have a pet on a budget or a lower income. There are vets out there that give senior citizen discounts. There are programs out there and funding available if your cat needs surgery or shots. Ask your vet if they have any resources for you. And also, don't forget to get your cat food on sale and stock up as much as possible when you can. Now, Anne doesn't have any credit cards. She doesn't feel the need for it. She doesn't feel that she needs a credit score at this point in her life. She doesn't ever plan on buying a car or a house. So she doesn't have to worry about the credit cards. She feels like she has enough money coming in to pay for her basic needs, and she has no debt. She does say that debt is evil. Not my words, those are her words. Debt is evil. So if you have debt, you have to get rid of it. Does she negotiate bills? Does she have bills that she can lower? She does get heat for her electric and her heat, and she does have cable, which is the smaller package of cable that also is partnered with her phone. So she has cable and phone. She does not have internet. She does not have any kind of devices that need internet, but she does bundle her phone and her cable together. Her cable is her primary source of entertainment, so she feels like paying not for the big packages, but a small amount for that works well for her. At this point in her life, Anne doesn't necessarily have a written budget. She has a very small pool of bills that come in, and she knows in her head how much she has to pay for everything, what the costs are, and where to pull the money from. So sitting down and having a budget doesn't really serve her, although she does track her expenses in her little check registry, so she knows pretty much how much anything is. When I asked her about selling stuff, she said that she did sell a lot of the stuff when she downsized, and that was one of the big tips that she had. If you have a low income, consider moving to a smaller apartment with less rooms for a smaller price, because you don't necessarily have to live in a big apartment if you can't afford the rent. This is key to basically living within your means. She says a lot of people have a really hard time, and she did too, to have to keep downsizing as she got older. But her quality of life is better in a smaller apartment because she doesn't have to stress over whether or not she can pay her rent. She said that selling things that you're not using has a lot of benefits, including not tripping over things. It's a pretty minimal apartment. She doesn't have to worry about her family having to take care of all of that stuff after she passes. And she got a little bit of money when she did sell everything. One of the greatest challenges for this country is limiting impulse purchases. Anne has the benefit of not being exposed to social media, so impulse purchases are a little bit easy for her to overcome. She says that she does like treats at the grocery store. So she does sometimes buy things just because she gets a little snack hankering for them in the grocery store. And she has a little bit of give in her grocery budget, so she can do that. Now, when I asked her about increasing her income, of course she's not able to do this. If you have a low income and you have the health and the time, you might want to consider increasing your income. For people who are on disability or retired or just older, they don't have the energy, then increasing your income might not be an option. People who are retired and still have vibrancy and energy and strength, you are allowed to make up to $19,000 a year and not lose your Social Security benefits. And this one was pretty big. We talked a little bit about using community resources. She utilizes HEAP and SNAP. She also gets Meals on Wheels delivered in the winter months and loves to go to the senior center for their free lunches during the good months. Senior Citizen Center also has a bus that will pick her up and take her to the grocery store. So for her, there's no need for a car. They will also pick her up to bring her to lunches at the senior center when she wants to. There are, at least in our town, resources through the food pantry and the community churches. We have a lady that comes into our food pantry and picks up boxes for 4 shut-ins. These are people who are not able to leave their home due to age or health concerns. So she will grab the boxes of food knowing their dietary needs and restrictions, and she will deliver them to them. The food pantry is a great resource when you're struggling to try to have enough food to nourish your body. You don't necessarily have to go regularly, although you're able to. You can just go when you're feeling a little bit of a pinch or a little shortage. Ask your local pharmacist about discounts for medications. If you have medications and your copays are high or your insurances don't cover, the pharmacist is a fantastic resource for knowing how to get those medications just a little bit cheaper. When Anne talked about moving to a smaller apartment, she also mentioned that she was able to get assistance, subsidized housing, because of her age and income. This is a sweet little apartment. It's all been fully renovated. It's adorable with an elevator. She pays a lot less for this apartment than she normally would with the assistance of housing. Anne said it was a little bit hard for her to take help from the community and the government. She felt that she had a lot of pride in trying to do everything on her own, and it was a little bit shameful for her to ask for help. But she's frugal, and she loves to be frugal. And this was just another way for her to look at it so she doesn't think that she's asking for a handout. Now, the 4 things that Anne wanted me to share with you, she thought that this was the most important thing. Living on a low income might mean that you have restrictions on how much socialization and entertainment you can afford. So there are 4 ways that she wanted to mention that really added to her quality of life. Resourcefulness. She's super resourceful. She knew that asking for help and looking for community assistance was a great way for her to still be able to live on her own. Contentment. She is so happy with where she is right now, and she has social interaction. She has a small group of friends that she can see and visit with. She has a nice little apartment that keeps her warm and dry. She is content with where she is. She also says that prioritizing her needs over her wants are a really big deal when you have a low income. Being able to decipher between what you need to survive and then what you want is important. Also, being able to have a little bit of wiggle room there for happiness, for things that make you happy. Maybe it's a little candy bar every time you go to the grocery store. It doesn't have to be expensive, but make sure that you have something in the budget that allows you for some fun. And lastly, companionship. Not only does she get the wonderful companionship when she goes to the senior center for lunch, but she also has companionship in her cat. She absolutely gets so much enjoyment out of her cat, Rosie. She could never imagine life without her. What can we learn from Anne, and what can we learn from the things that she shared with us? We can learn that life can still be good on a low income. Whether you are a single parent trying to make ends meet, retired on disability, or just decided to live a lower income lifestyle, that it can still be good. Quality of life can still be good. It doesn't have to be stressful, and living within your means and having a great life is possible. What surprised me the most about talking with Anne is how happy she was, how content she was in life, and how she found joy in the simple things. This was a heartwarming chat with her that I really enjoyed. And it made me realize that just because you're on a low income doesn't mean that you can't find joy in the smaller things. Have a social life and still live well. If you like these kinds of videos, I'm going to leave a couple above that might interest you, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.